Hi, I'm Dominique, food lady at AnnaMaria's, and today we're going to be making a traditional Piemontese lasagna my way. First of all, what is a traditional lasagna? Well, that is a hot topic that has been argued between Naples and Bologna, basically between the south of Italy and the north of Italy, for a long time. In Naples, the lasagna has meat sauce, meatballs, sausage, and ricotta and mozzarella. Whereas lasagna bolognese in Bologna is meat sauce with a bechamel sauce and then grated parm. So in Piemonte, we go from that tradition, but we, at least in our family, add Parmesan in the bechamel. So it makes it a Parmesan cheese sauce. And we'll do that with the meat sauce, or we'll do a vegetable one with layers of grilled or sauteed vegetables. Now what I like to do is I like to make a meal in one and do a couple of layers of vegetables with a layer of meat and go from there. And then with the wonderful bechamel, the Parmesan, and because I've been in the States for a while and I really have to say that I love that melted mozzarella on lasagna, I also add a bit of that. So it's a meal in one and a flavor bomb. So that can be a lot of work, but with our tomato sauces and some tips and tricks that I have for you, we can make it a shorter process and you can make a phenomenal lasagna pretty easily. So what are you gonna need? First of all, one of our tomato sauces. Today I'm gonna work with the Pinarolo because I think the smokiness of the pancetta and the sage are gonna work great with both meat and vegetables. But any of the three are fantastic. And I've got some warmed up right here. Then I've got some meat sauce warming up on the stove. Follow the link below for our video on how to make a real quick and easy meat sauce with our tomato sauces. And it's a meat sauce that tastes like you've cooked it all day long, but it's about 35 minutes to make. Then you're gonna need whatever vegetables you're gonna use. Here I have some sauteed bell pepper with baby spinach, some mushrooms, and some eggplant. You can either make them yourself by sauteing them up in a little extra virgin olive oil with a pinch of salt, or you can go to the prepared food section of supermarkets and they always have some great sauteed or grilled veggies that you can use if you want to make it faster and easier for yourself. Now, if you're going to use mushrooms, I say always saute them separately because you want to get the water out and really kind of get that caramelized flavor in the mushroom. And for eggplant, please follow my video link below on how to sweat eggplant. What that means is that you're going to get some of the liquid out of the eggplant and it takes out some of the bitterness so that you have a really wonderfully sweet eggplant flavor at the end. Then you're going to need your bechamel. And again, follow my link on how to make the bechamel. It's actually, you just have to pay attention to it, but it's a very simple process to make a really rich white sauce, and then you put in your cheese. And then you're gonna want some grated parm, some mozzarella, and some lasagna. So the other fast tip and trick that I have is you use ready-to-bake lasagna. This one is a gluten-free because I'm not great with gluten, but they have a lot more of the regular gluten ones. And what that means, the ready-to-bake, is you don't have to cook it. You just put it in just like that in the pan. You'll see. Now, I soak it in water just a little bit as I'm preparing everything because I've found that it just sucks up water from the other things that you're putting into it. So I already prepare myself for that by putting extra water in our sauces. I think that if you've watched our other videos, you know how thick and rich the sauces are. Well, what I do is to every jar of sauce, I put half a jar of water in there so that there's that extra water to soak up into the pasta. And then I make my bechamel just slightly more liquid. And in the recipe that I've done, that's the recipe you'll follow to have that liquid for the lasagna. But these are wonderful. Once you have that extra liquid, you're just layering that up and then baking it. None of the worry of baking them or of boiling them and then they stick. It's a mess and it's a long process. So that's what we're going to use. So I'm gonna reset up the camera so that you have more of a top view, and we're gonna put this lasagna together. Okay, so we are ready to put together our lasagna. So I've got some lasagna soaking right here. What you wanna do is you always wanna have a bit of liquid on the bottom. So see, even with the water, how nice and thick and rich our sauces are. Okay. Then we're gonna put our lasagna. Now these lasagna grow a little bit, so they are going to fill that in. But what I also do is I'm able, when I soak them like this, I'm able to break them up a little bit. And so this way I can fill it up all the way, and I've got yummy pasta all the way through. Okay, this is why you need long nails. You're gonna have to deal with me putting my fingers in my food because I'm Italian. It drives my American husband, and he's from a German background, crazy. Says there's tools for everything, and I think your hands are kind of the very best tool there are. So I'm gonna put a layer of the spinach and pepper like this. I've sped the visuals up now because we're just filling in layers, and you can pause if you're making your lasagna while you're watching. Put bechamel, a sprinkle of parm on each layer. The bechamel is thick right now because it's cool, but it will meld in and spread out with everything as it bakes. Then add some mozzarella and cover with more lasagna sheets. I now do a second layer of veggies, and I mix the mushrooms with the eggplant. Here I add sauce and then the bechamel, parm, and mozz. Well, it looks like lasagna started in the center and south of Italy. As a northerner, I hate to say that. In Roman Empire times, there were recipes both in Rome and in Naples of fermented or regular dough layered with cheeses and meats. And a similar recipe was also found in ancient Greece. No tomato sauce, of course, because tomatoes didn't exist on the European continent until they were brought over from the Americas in the 1600s. Isn't it crazy that tomato sauce, something that is so Italian, wasn't even part of Italy until relatively recently? Now we put the meat layer, and I add some tomato sauce in order to have the extra moisture for the pasta sheets. Although this layered dough idea is found in southern Italy first, I think that the addition of bechamel up north really made lasagna sing. And if you haven't tried this version, you have to, and you'll see what I mean. Now a second layer of mushrooms and eggplant. I'm saving the rest of the peppers for the top. So what the bechamel does is that it adds a phenomenal creaminess. Well, basically bechamel, the way you make it, is the same way that you make a cheese sauce for macaroni and cheese. So you can imagine right there how good this is in a lasagna. Because imagine how great the cheese sauce in the middle of your macaroni is. Bechamel is one of the 5 mother sauces in French cooking, but we Italians say that it was created in Tuscany and called balsamella and brought to France by Catherine de' Medici when she married King Henry II. Either way, it was the Marquis de Bechamel, chief steward of Louis XIV, who stamped it with his name and ran away with it. And what I like is to do the very last layer on top with whatever meat sauce you have left. And I've got a little bit of peppers, which goes amazingly well with meat sauce. Now, this is also a way to kind of make your dish taller. When you have skimpy dishes, to me this is a skimpy dish because I'm Italian, everything has to be bigger. So you just give it a little bit more of an edge here. Okay. I put so much on top of the last noodle layer because as it's baking, it caramelizes and crisps to add even more depth of flavor to the lasagna. I love researching the history of recipes because for me, food brings us together now as we share it, And it also ties us together through its history. It's the real sense of community. And voila, now we bake it. It's so heavy, it's so awesome. And I've preheated the oven to 350, and so we're ready to bake. So now we have to leave it for about 10 minutes to sit so that everything gets soaked up and it gets cool enough to cut and eat. Yay! So here we go. Let's cut into this. Now, can you tell that I need a much deeper lasagna pan? I just love to fill this up chock full of great stuff because making, when you're making lasagna, and as you see, it's not hard, but it takes, there's a lot of steps to it. You might as well make a great big pan of it, and then you can, because this one, I'm going to be able to freeze the other half. And when you defrost it, it tastes almost better. Ooh! Okay. You know how they say the first piece of cake is always the worst looking one? But it doesn't matter how it looks. It tastes awesome. Okay. So it's nice and creamy and cheesy. And it's full of veggies and meat and melty cheese. And here we go. Okay. So you see that you can just cut right through the pasta. So many flavors. It's so amazing and I'm so hungry. I've been cooking all day. I can't wait to eat this. Now, all of those fresh veggies that you put in, and then all the fresh veggies in our tomato sauces, you've got a lot of great healthy ingredients in there, and it's a flavor bomb. But if you have a lot of it, it can also be a calorie bomb with all the cheeses and the milks and all of that. So I make a kale slaw salad. No, Tiny, don't jump up on here. No, down. So I make a kale slaw salad. Hey, Tiny, get down. I guess Tiny wants some lasagna as well. So the kale slaw salad is fresh kale, 2 kinds of cabbage, and some carrots. And this is the kind of thing that you can find all pre-cut in your local grocery store. And then the vinaigrette that I make on it is our almond apricot jam mixed with a cider vinegar tonic. You have to click on the video below and see how we make that. Fill half of your plate with this and then have a slice of lasagna, and it's actually a healthy meal. Remember what I say, to eat healthy in a regular basis, you have to love what you eat and it has to comfort you. And these kind of things comfort you. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe and comment down below and tell me what kind of vegetable you used and any questions that you might have. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you again soon.